And welcome back to part 5, folks. Alright, so now that we've rescued some of the doctors from Arkham Asylum, it's time to rescue the rest. Dr. Young, Dr. Kellerman, and the forgettable doctor in the surgery room. Alright, so as we said last time, they're all conveniently misplaced in all different areas of the hospital, or the medical facility rather, and we have to go through these 3 separated hallways to take them on. Each hallway has a little simple fight before it that shouldn't be too hard, but as you'll see in today's episode, I start sucking at combat for some reason. I always think I have the upcoming combos or level up abilities unlocked, and then I'll just wait or just get hit so easily and simply. It's just it looks pathetic, you know? But here's our first puzzle regarding the explosive gel. Dr. Young is trapped in this room with 6 armed henchmen, and if they spot you, or if you wait too long to figure out what you're supposed to do, they'll kill her. And it's an automatic game over. And on the game over screen, which I'm unsure whether I talked about or not, in different sections of the game you'll have different enemies taunting you. They'll have their little 2 or 3 different lines with which they'll make fun of the fact that you died or failed an objective. But all you have to do is blow up those 2 walls, and you've done it.
What's going on? They were talking like they were in control. Is it true that Joker escaped?
Unfortunately, yes. But not for long.
I'd been studying Joker's case for months when he broke out. The warden was very specific he wanted Joker cured.
Bad publicity will affect his campaign for mayor.
That'll be the least of it. God, I almost forgot. They said they were moving through the facility, hunting down the other doctors.
Don't worry, Doctor. I rescued you first, and now I'll search the other
In case you haven't figured it out or picked up on it yet, Dr. Young is actually the doctor interviewing the Joker in his collectible interview tapes. It's potentially hard to figure out because, well, we haven't had that many of the Joker tapes. We've had more both of the Riddler and Harley Quinn. But, you know, if you've been paying attention, you could have deduced that, I guess. Anyhow, now back in the same hallway, we have a present awaiting with some Joker teeth. Again, those are collectibles, so make sure to destroy every single one you see throughout your playthrough. For the next room, let's go to the aforementioned surgery room. That's quite forgettable. This vent system I'm in actually connects the hallways of all 3 rooms, and it's a bit of a shortcut, so you probably should take it if you want to save, I don't know, 30 seconds of time or so. But regardless, we're here, and we're here for another little challenge from the Joker. Sadly, we can't get into that electrically sealed door just yet.
Batman!
Don't speak. You're safe now.
But it's a trap!
I know. Just not for me.
That was a badass line. I just wanted to say that.
Greatest detective. How did you do that, Bats? Oh, what the hell? Get down there, boys.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention in the middle of the cutscene how badass of a line that was. It's so reminiscent of the Rorschach line from The Watchmen, which is, I guess, officially a part of the DC universe for a while now. If you're not sure what I'm referring to, it's the Rorschach line when he actually gets arrested and goes to prison, where he says that he's not the one that should be afraid because all the other inmates are locked in with him. Pretty badass. But anyhow, we get a very big beat-em-up stage, and what differs this one from all the other I guess beat-em-up sections of the game is this section you'll have enemies that will more often than not go for different items and try to hit you with, you know. They'll go for the walls, for the electrical sockets, pipes, anything they can get their hands on. And it's the first type of section like that in the game.
These low-life thugs.
Anyhow though, we've rescued Dr. Chen, and if you've been paying attention when we entered the room, there was a puzzle here, and it's about Tommy Elliot. And if you're not a big, I guess, the biggest fan of the DC universe, Tommy Elliot, also known as Hush, is one of the only really well-known Bruce Wayne's childhood friends, whose father was also a friend of Bruce's father, and they were both very successful. Until something horrible happened and he took on the name of Hush as a villain in his adulthood. I've actually read the graphic novel Hush this summer, and it's very enjoyable. It's a little bit lengthy compared to the other graphic novels that I'm used to when it comes to comic book universes, but I think it's well worth a read if you can get your hands on it. Anyhow though, let's unlock the next stage of the combat upgrades, the special combo boost. You'll be able to perform your throws and your combat takedowns after only a combo of 5 moves, which is your first critical hit gauge. And I'll show that off later on in this video, I'm pretty sure. But for now, let's go into the observation room, very last one. Alright, so as I've mentioned, I believe in part 1 or part 2, if you hit a turned around enemy with a batarang, you immediately knock him out. Sadly though, I also mentioned in those episodes that the ground takedowns aren't animations that are outside the combat and can get interrupted like you just saw there. So again, be careful, especially when there's lots of enemies, not to do ground combat takedowns.
There was an alarm in medical. I heard someone shouting and found the doc lying on the floor. When I went to help him, the room was flooded with gas. These doors locked down. We can't get out. Don't know how long we can last.
How brave. Let's give Mr. Cash a great big hand. He could use one.
Another great one-liner by the Joker. They just keep on coming. But as we spoke about last time, this is another Joker toxin room. And again, if you have a pirated version of the game, if you've been mischievous and downloaded the game from a certain bay where pirates may reside, there's a good chance that you actually won't get through this room at all. You'll just get stuck here and you won't be able to progress, which is very cute. But I think it's a cool little addition when the developers work on a game for a very long time to add something like that. Anyhow though, this one is more, I guess slightly more complicated than the last one. You have to notice the hanging henchman all the way in the background, and if you cut him down, he'll actually break through the roof. Looks like at this state of the night, Batman doesn't have any more love for rescuing Blackgate inmates like he had in the first toxin room, but I guess times have changed. A couple of hours went by. Anyhow though, detective mode as always is very useful in these sections, as you can see all the electrical groundwork and where it's connected. This room actually also has 3 separated sets of Joker teeth on each of the platforms with the outlets you have to destroy. But that's what happens if you glide and you're not a good player. You'll have to forcefully grapple out and lose a little bit of HP, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect, right? Alright, so let's see, where is the second one? Right behind us, okay, yeah. That can happen very often. You can get lost in these rooms, not because of the spatial, not because how the room is constructed spatially, but more so from the fog, I find it. You know, this fog is very reminiscent actually. Every time I see it, I think of the original Spider-Man games for the PlayStation or N64, whichever way you rolled as a kid. I'm guessing that if I have more of a Western audience, it'll be N64, because that's what a lot of kids grew up with in the US. Europe, though, not so much. We were the PlayStation generation more so. Anyhow though, we have rescued Aaron Cash, the ever so fighting rival of the Killer Croc, who took his arm in a fateful encounter not too long ago in the Arkham Asylum. But this newspaper clipping is the solution to our room's riddle, and it's about Firefly. Now, I didn't really read his bio, just because, you know, he's a part of the series later on. And let's, you know, I prefer if you kept future potential villains on the down low.
Patient interview 44. This is yet another interview with Edward Nigma. I have yet to make up my mind whether he's a genius or just deluded. Whichever one he is, just being in his company is both irritating and exhausting.
Hello, Miss Young. You look tired. Anything you need my help with?
No, thank you, Edward. I am here to help you. We all are.
Forgive my arrogance, Doctor, but if you think I need your help, well, you're in the right place.
Let's look at it a different way. Throughout your career, you have specialized in bizarre traps and convoluted clues that more often than not result in the death of the unfortunate participants.
And if the citizens of Gotham were smarter, my games would be merely an amusing diversion.
Instead of death traps.
You really should be thanking me. Weeding out the ignorant, the stupid, the useless. But don't worry, I'm sure you would survive. What a lovely photo on your desk, Doctor. Your family? Mother, perhaps.
Put that down. Get out. Go on.
So, as I'm sure you've noticed by now, at all the interview tape screens you can actually see the dates that all the interviews have been recorded at. So if you manage to collect them all throughout the game, at the end of the game you can check the interview tapes again without really listening to them, and you can piece them back together chronologically, which is pretty interesting for the, I guess, history of the game. Anyhow though, this is a new opponent. He's armed with knives, and you can't counter him because he'll slice you up, and it's very hard to dodge his knife attacks, so you'll have to take him out with a stun attack. And yes, basically, whichever platform you're playing on, you'll have to hit that opponent with your cape to stun him, and then you can beat him up like a regular henchman. These are very annoying, especially later on, or when it comes to the challenge stages, but I think those are a story for another day.
Did you find them? Are they okay?
Yes, they're safe now.
Batman, we've got another problem.
I need to get back to the mansion. All my research notes are there. We can't risk Joker getting his hands on them.
It's not safe, Doctor. The island's a war zone. You won't stand a chance.
It's my life's work. You really don't have the authority to...
I'll get her there, Batman. You ask me, it's about time for a little payback.
I don't like it, but... Who called the elevator?
Wasn't us. It's coming from the lower floor.
Cash, take Dr. Young. Get her notes and then find somewhere safe to hold up. Everyone else, go to the observation room. Barricade yourselves in.
The boss says he's in here somewhere. Spread out.
And welcome to another Predator section, in the same room as the last episode. To be honest, I kind of feel as though this specific section is a little redundant, because nothing really changes other than all the surfaces you've destroyed using your explosive gel, and I guess that only kind of limits your options as to how to take down all these henchmen. But really it kind of boils down to the same practice. I think I took this henchman down literally at the exact same pixel location as I did in the last episode with one of the henchmen that was standing about to go down on that ladder. Nothing really changes. Again, the only tactics you can't employ are the ones you've used up by either destroying walls to obtain upgrades last time you were here, or doing the same basically, but for knocking out the previous pairs of henchmen that the Joker sent. Again, when you see the last final isolated enemy, you can hit him with a batarang, But as I show off here, I hesitate because it's a bad angle. Very often in this game, if it's not a clear shot, because the batarang does curve, and you know, it has a specific trajectory that it flies in. If you throw it at an odd angle that you can kind of learn by experience, you'll see it by eye after a while, the batarang won't work, quite frankly, even though it, you know, it's marked as locked on, when in reality it won't be. So I guess take note of that. And destroy a few more Joker teeth before getting in the elevator.
Too easy. Oh, think about it. I got you trapped in a little metal box, hanging precariously over a deadly drop. What say I just blow the emergency brakes and drop you like a sack of puppies? Say good night, bats. Boom! Only kidding. Got a few more surprises in store for you.
Ah, the Joker is still great, isn't he? Luke Skywalker never disappoints.
All of them.
Unless you're a fan of the current Star Wars films, in which, well, I guess he just might.
There is no crane. They're all over me. Only Scarecrow.
Alright. So we're still following the tobacco trail of Commissioner Gordon. We have to make sure that he is safe and sound, and we'll hopefully find whether that's true or not soon here. Again, nothing really challenging here, just another wall to blow up. Some people might call it redundant when it comes to upgrades, but I actually like that the game does have a lot of options for you to use your upgrades, because later on, again, when it comes to collectibles, you'll have plenty of time to use up all of your upgrades in different creative ways.
Please help me, Batman. No!
Though when it comes to the storyline, unless you're, I guess, really inquisitive and you'd like to use up all the options you have, like it was a Legend of Zelda game or something like that, you really wouldn't have to otherwise, right? You could just run through the entire game swinging your fists and silently taking down enemies. So I find all of that very, very cool. Oh boy, looks like Jim's in a bad shape.
I'm sorry, Jim. Barbara. I'm sorry. I was too late.
I'm sorry. The number you've dialed isn't available. Please leave a message after.
So yeah, as I said, the room's getting a little
Barbara,
bit weird.
Are you there?
Doesn't kind of looks like it's spinning. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of cockroaches on the walls. We can hear the squashing sounds like this was a Nintendo video game. But I guess we've made our way to the morgue. Not really sure why we're here. Everything looks quite dandy. Let's just leave the morgue. We don't need to be here. Okay, so I guess we're back in the morgue. Everything still seems fine. We have 3 body bags now. Okay. A little weirder.
You should have stood up to him, son. Like a man.
Alright. So we've just found the corpses of our late parents. Alright.
Mom?
Help us, Bruce. Don't let us die.
Oh, I mean, if you want to be a positive guy, I guess they don't look too bad after being passed for 2 or 3 decades. Okay, that was a little weird. That was a weird guy in a cheap suit lying in a body bag casually. Alright.
You're in my world now.
And yes, aside from the cringy jokes, welcome to the first Scarecrow section of the game. I think this is incredibly well imagined, and it's an incredibly original, I guess, boss fight, if you want to call it that. So, quite obviously, Batman's been infected by the fear toxin of scarecrows, and now we're in this really cool section where we can't get spotted or you immediately die. And even if you do, it's not too bad, because to be honest, I think that the Scarecrow has some of the best voice acting in the game. It's obviously been retouched in post, but I think it sounds incredibly cool nevertheless. And I also think not only that he has the coolest voice effect-wise, I think he has the best lines when it comes to you failing to do this section and actually getting caught. But yeah, since this is the first section, you know, spoiler alert, I guess, it's not too difficult. You have to shimmy along a very small portion of a wall. You have to jump, you have to crouch on a short ledge once or maybe twice at all, and then you just have to time this long jump well and get to the bat signal to get the Joker, or wow, the Scarecrow out of your hair for a little bit. But definitely one of the coolest design sections of the game. Okay, that was weird. So he disappeared. Dr. Jonathan Crane, also known as the Scarecrow. Again, all the bios, I don't think I've mentioned this enough. They have incredibly cool artwork, and I do believe that some of it is original.
Bruce, what's going on?
Oracle, I'm okay.
What happened? I lost contact. Are you sure you're all right? Have you found my dad?
I'm fine. Had a little run-in with Scarecrow, slowed me down.
Anyhow though,
I'll get back to you
I
in a bit.
think that'll be it. We have one more riddle to solve in this video, and then I'm off for the next couple of days. So, we've done a lot. We've faced the Scarecrow. We've saved all of the medical facility of Arkham. And next time, let's actually give chase to the Joker a little bit more seriously. I'll see you guys then.